Hello and welcome. You're watching To The Point. Is Arun Jaitley right in claiming that the Aam Aadmi Party has been caught red-handed in a clear case of round-tripping for Hawala funds? Or does the Aam Aadmi Party have a credible defence which is not getting the attention it deserves? That's the discussion in part 2 as we attempt to draw a fine analytical line through this heated controversy. But first, 5 opinion polls were published yesterday and their average suggests that the Aam Aadmi Party will win Delhi whilst the BJP will do worse than 2013. Many now believe this poses the biggest challenge for the Prime Minister. Can he turn around his party's prospects, or is that close to impossible? That's our first discussion tonight. Let me know when Smita happens. With me to talk about the challenge facing Mr. Modi is the political editor of the Hindustan Times, Vinod Sharma, a senior fellow of Shivnadar University, Siddharth Varadarajan, the associate editor of the Hindu, Smita Gupta, and BJP spokesperson, Aman Sinha. Aman Sinha, 5 opinion polls were published yesterday and their average shows that Aam Aadmi will win a majority whilst the BJP will do worse than 2013. So will you accept that as things look today, you're staring defeat in the face?
No, Karan, absolutely not. And if you'd recall, most of these opinion polls proved horribly inaccurate in the Lok Sabha elections. In fact, most of these polls predicted 1 or 2 seats for BJP in the Lok Sabha elections, and we ended up having a clean sweep in Delhi polls. Even in overall, all over India also, they underestimated us by about 100 to 125 seats. I'm getting a lot of echo in my EP if it can be fixed, Karan. And the real test lies in not in these surveys, Karan. I would like to say that the real test lies how people are voting. And if you see all the elections which have happened after previous assembly elections in Delhi, BJP has convincingly won all the elections, whatever elections have happened in Delhi.
Okay.
Whether it was Lok Sabha elections where we had a 7-0 clean sweep, whether it was a Dusu election where we had a clean sweep, or whether it was a Delhi Cantonment Board elections which took place just about last fortnight.
Where you actually came
BJP
back with 1 seat
there.
less.
Aam Aadmi Party
In the Delhi Cantonment, you came back with 1 seat less. But I take your wider point that polls are not a necessarily reliable indicator. Previous polls have been wrong. Let me bring the others in, because I think you made your point substantially. And your point is to question whether polls are reliable. Siddharth Varadarajan, it's a fair point made by Mr. Sinha. Polls have gone horribly wrong in the past and therefore one can't put too much faith in them. But that apart, many people believe when the average of 5 polls suggests a very clear defeat for the BJP, this then poses a serious challenge for Mr. Modi. Now, do you believe he can turn things around by the sheer force of his speeches, his personality and his performance? Or is that close to impossible because he simply hasn't got enough time to do it?
Well, we didn't need these opinion polls to tell us that the BJP campaign was in something of, had run into trouble. The fact is that the BJP has tried 3 or 4 different strategies, and each time, without actually going back and doing opinion surveys, each time the BJP's own feedback from the ground was that these strategies aren't working and that the Aam Aadmi Party seems to be not only holding on to its position but actually gaining support. And I think this is reflected in almost panic-like reaction that we see in the top BJP leadership, including, I have to say, the Prime Minister, who has plunged, into the campaign. He was there right at the start, you will recall, didn't do very well then, and I'm not sure that his intervention at this stage, particularly when the campaign has become very personalized, right? Even, the BJP has deployed the Prime Minister in a sort of personal slanging match with Arvind Kejriwal. I'm not sure that's the wisest approach that the BJP should have adopted, and I would read all of these as signs of its panic or desperation, regardless of what the opinion polls say.
Okay, Vinod Sharma, news reports suggest that Delhi today is a sharply divided city. The middle classes and the rich are clearly with the BJP, but the poor, the minorities, the Juggi Jhompri and the slums are with Aam Aadmi. Now, would you say that in sheer numerical terms, the grouping behind Aam Aadmi, provided it actually comes out in votes, is a majority of the city?
No, Karan, may I say something which Mr. Aman Sinha may not like, but it is an input that they can make use of. Still there is time. Though not much time. You see, what's happened today is that Ms. Kiran Bedi and the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, both who were deployed as assets by the BJP, have become tremendous liabilities for the BJP in this campaign. For the simple reason that what you described as polemics when I was talking to Mr. Rao in your previous program.
Vinod, come to the point quickly.
No, the point is that BJP has gotten painted as a party that belongs to the haves, and the Aam Aadmi Party is a party that belongs to the have-nots. And the have-nots are more in bigger strength in this country, and they have the gravitational pull to bring on their side the lesser haves on the BJP side. And there is a wave. I can feel a wave, Karan, and I'm sticking my neck out. I may be, you know, Karan, I may be embarrassed tomorrow.
In a moment, Mr. Sinha, I'll come to you, but please wait your turn.
I may be embarrassed tomorrow, but I'm sticking my neck out. I have never felt this kind of a tangible impact in an election campaign ever before in Delhi. I think that the Prime Minister needs to do some quick, nimble footing in order to be able to reach out to the people who feel disconnected with him. His campaigning is not finding the connect that it is seeking in Delhi.
You know, Smita Gupta, at the end of the day, we have now just about 2 days left before the voting starts on the 7th. A lot depends on the turnout. For the BJP, the problem is that it's a Saturday. Many of the well-to-do tend to take a holiday on Saturday. Is there a problem that, in fact, the turnout as far as BJP supporters and voters are concerned may not live up to the size and scale we saw in May, and that could be a second element that diminishes the BJP's fortunes?
Well, that could be the case, but I'd like to make an additional point about the voter turnout, which is that ever since Ms. Kiran Bedi was brought in as the chief ministerial candidate, there was so much unhappiness in the BJP, state unit of the BJP, that the party president had to actually bring in workers from neighboring states, and basically not only for the campaign, but also for the critical issue of voter turnout on polling day. So it could be a real problem, but the BJP is pulling out all its stops, trying to get as many people from outside who are not as affected by Ms. Bedi becoming the party's top candidate.
Aman Sinha, let me put it like this. It's quite possible.
But the BJP, right from the beginning,
yes,
I'd
Karan,
like to add.
Yes.
Sorry, finish, Smita Gupta, then I'll go on. Finish quickly.
Yes, Karan.
No, I was saying that the BJP has exhibited nervousness right from the beginning of the campaign by first delaying the election by so many months. It should have actually held the election immediately after the Lok Sabha polls.
Yes, but let's not go backwards now, because let's not go back into history. The situation we face is the situation as of today. Now, Aman Sinha, let me put it like this. It's quite possible that victory or defeat for the BJP could really critically depend on what percentage of Delhi's Jhuggi-Jhompri slums and urban poor vote for you. The problem there is that Aam Aadmi has struck a chord by promising to halve electricity and give free water to everyone. All you've promised is a significant reduction in the rate of electricity without actually saying how much, and a vague promise to reduce water rates, again without giving details. Now, on those critical issues that matter to these people, and they're a majority of Delhi, Aam Aadmi scores heavily over you.
No, Karan, first of all, please allow me to respond to my able friends on the panel. Prime Minister Modi has got mandate of the world's biggest election, and he has been voted by all sections of the society, and thereafter also BJP has been winning all the state elections and putting in its best ever performance.
But there's always a first
I do not
to
think
lose.
we need a certificate from anybody else.
Always
as long as people of this country are endorsing actions of Prime Minister Modi. Sorry?
I said there's always a first to lose, and that's what
Karan,
we're discussing. Is this going to be the first he'll lose?
Not at all. all pointers are, indicating to the fact that we are going to win Delhi elections by a landslide.
Okay.
Please remember all the election results in past 6 months in Delhi. We have been winning convincingly.
We've been through that. Answer my question now. Aman Sinha, I asked you a pointed question.
1.25 crores.
I asked you a pointed question about water and electricity that matters to the poor who are the majority of Delhi.
But I also have to respond to my friends.
Go ahead, answer that.
Because they raise certain questions with regard to campaigning, etc. And it is the BJP only which has the courage to hold rallies in Ramlila ground and Japani Park in Rohini. No other party, whether it is Aam Aadmi Party or it is Congress Party, can muster up the courage to hold such big rallies. Prime Minister had massively successful rallies, and his speeches have been inspiring, and we are consolidating our position, consolidating our lead after each and every rally of Prime Minister. Now, as far as electricity is concerned,
Aman Sinha,
please allow me to respond, Karan.
We don't have all day.
Your question, as far as electricity is concerned, it is a myth that Aam Aadmi Party reduced the prices of electricity. What they in fact did was that the hard-earned taxpayers' money
Sinha,
was
I asked
put
you a
into
specific point about you, not about Aam Aadmi. I'm sorry, you're filibustering, and I'm not going to accept filibustering. I'm going to repeat my question one last time to give you one last chance to answer it. But filibustering is not acceptable. Now, my question was this. My question was this. The critical thing that matters to the majority of Delhi who are poor is water and electricity. On that front, Aam Aadmi is offering better than you are. Are you worried that they may vote for Aam Aadmi simply for those grounds?
That is what I am responding to, Karan.
You're not. You're talking about what Aam Aadmi did. I'm asking you about what you're doing.
No, that is what I am saying. As far as electricity is concerned, it's a myth that Aam Aadmi Party reduced the prices. They gave taxpayers hard-earned money into the coffers of these private discoms. As far as BJP is concerned, we will have multiple discoms which will compete to give the best possible services at the most reasonable prices, and the electricity prices tariff will be reduced by minimum 30%. Now, as far as water is concerned, I am sorry to say, Karan, in this case, you are not having a fair debate. I am responding to electricity and water, and you are not allowing me to respond. This is not.
I'm going to come to you because this is more important than just becoming a tutu meme between BJP and Aam Aadmi. For many people, this is a critical battle today between Kiran Bedi and Arvind Kejriwal. Both parties' fortunes, in a sense, depend upon how those two people go down with the Delhi electorate. As an independent observer, do you think Arvind Kejriwal has outclassed Kiran Bedi, or is that just a jaundiced press impression?
My sense is that his connect is more spontaneous, it's more overreaching. I mean, the way in which we've seen Kiran Bedi interact with audiences, there's something very stilted about her performance. And I think that her inability to carry her own party cadres and her own party leaders to the fullest extent is testimony to that. But I want to flip your question around. I think this election is no longer about Kejriwal versus Bedi, because the BJP 4 or 5 days ago decided to downgrade the role that Kiran Bedi is playing in publicity and to bat front foot with Modi. So in a sense, what you're seeing is the Prime Minister putting everything on the line here. And if the party wins, it will win because of him. If it loses, this will be a big setback for the Prime Minister. But either way, the fact that the party is having to face such an uphill battle, despite everything that Amar Sinha said, having won earlier elections, having done so well in Delhi, tells you something about the way in which perceptions in the city with regard to the performance of the Modi Sarkar have changed, and have changed to the detriment of the BJP.
Something that's happened, Vinod Sharma, in the last 36 hours is in fact the Awam revelations against the Aam Aadmi. What impact will that have, not on the newspaper reading middle classes or the rich, but on the critical votes in slums and jhuggi jhompris and amongst the poor, who constitute the real voting support base of Aam Aadmi? Will it damage Aam Aadmi support there, or will it not make a difference at all?
Karan, I'm reminded of the 2004 elections, if you remember, not 2004, but the elections that happened in Delhi after that, when there was this attack in Mumbai, a terrorist attack. And the BJP ran a very negative campaign. you know, and they said that we're going to come to power, we're going to have Afzal Guru the first day. Now, I see a resonance of that campaign in the BJP pitch for the votes this time. They are running a hugely negative campaign against Arvind Kejriwal. The Prime Minister, who I agree with Siddharth that it is now a battle between the Prime Minister and Arvind Kejriwal, that the Prime Minister is not telling the people why they should elect him. He's basically telling the people why they should not be electing the Aam Aadmi Party. I mean, he's called them all kinds of names.
Can I interrupt? Can I ask you this? What impact will the Awam revelations have on the Jhuggi Jhompri slums and poor who are the voting base of the Aam Aadmi Party?
Karan, I know the answer. I've done my little survey. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, much as I have many apprehensions about him, is Mr. Teflon of Delhi today. Nothing sticks. It's a 2 crore issue. And may I say that when you see what has happened, that the social media that catapulted the BJP to power in 2014 is his biggest nemesis today. Okay. That the Prime Minister's, you know, rightly or wrongly, the 10 lakh suit that he wears, you know, the pinstripe suit that he wears, you know, it has had the same impact, deleterious impact on the BJP's prospects as it had on the Congress's, the comment of Mr. Manishankar here that the Honorable Prime Minister is a chaiwala and will come and serve tea at the AICC session. This is the public perception today.
Let me come back to this election. Smita Gupta, in contrast, has the dissidence and resentment in the BJP over Kiran Bedi becoming chief ministerial candidate had a bigger impact on the BJP's A, top leadership, and B, on the disenchanted middle class? In other words, whereas Arvind may have a Teflon skin and have escaped the Awam problem, is the BJP sinking under the weight of Kiran Bedi in those contradictions?
Yes, I do agree with that, but I think the BJP, when it's got into the election, they were already, you know, at a disadvantage, which they knew. They did not have, did not have a proper chief ministerial candidate, and they thought that they would be able to win this election on the back of Haryana, Maharashtra, etc. When they realized that, and they brought in Kiran Bedi, they thought that perhaps that would change the complexion of the campaign, but it has not, because Kiran Bedi has made many errors, and she came with a larger-than-life kind of profile which she has built over many years, and many of those things have got punctured through the campaign.
Okay.
So I think, and then again bringing in Mr. Modi hasn't helped. And Mr. Modi had thought that perhaps this American visit would sort of lift it. But I agree with Vinod. I don't think that any of that has helped him with the Jhuggi Jhompri. And I would not be surprised if even some sections of government servants who form, you know, a good voting section in this city also vote for Aam Aadmi this time.
Aman Sinha, let me put it like this. I'm coming back to that key thought that I put a moment ago, that your fortunes depend critically on how many of the Delhi population living in Jhuggi Jhompri slums and the poor vote for you. Now, on that count, what Aam Aadmi is offering in terms of electricity and water is infinitely better than what you are. But there's a second problem. Your campaign in the last 2 weeks has focused entirely on targeting Arvind Kejriwal. You've called him a series of names, and you've had this policy of asking 5 critical questions a day. Do you think that's actually going to boost Aam Aadmi and Arvind rather than diminish them? Have you therefore, on top of your other problems, used the wrong strategy?
No, first of all, let me correct my able friends by saying that Prime Minister Modi has never taken name of Mr. Kejriwal or Aam Aadmi Party. It is Mr. Kejriwal himself who has self-proclaimed that his ideology is anarchy and his agenda is agitation.
He called him
and that is what he referred to. As far as electricity and water is concerned, we believe we have a better agenda. We have a better agenda. Now, as far as Jhuggi Jhompri and slum dwellers are concerned, on that account also we have a better agenda. Prime Minister Modi himself has categorically stated that our stated policy with regard to slum dwellers is jahan jhuggi wahi makan. and he wants to eradicate all these slum dwelling units by 2022. That is his vision, and we'll come out with a blueprint, and once we have a government in Delhi, it will facilitate us in implementing this. And therefore, I feel that my friends are horribly mistaken. They are getting misled by the publicity, disproportionate publicity that Aam Aadmi Party gets, which is one of the 1750 political parties in this country. But the disproportionate publicity that gets, it sways some of my, eminent journalists on the panels who had expressed similar opinions during Lok Sabha elections. But what happened in reality was that the Aam Aadmi Party ended up making a world record in forfeiting deposit. And they should all understand and acknowledge it, I believe.
Salvage, a very quick answer to this question because we're running short of time. How serious a setback will it be for Mr. Modi after having virtually fronted the BJP campaign, despite the fact they have a separate lady as chief ministerial candidate? How much of a setback will it be for him if BJP fails to win?
We're looking at a leader who hasn't lost a single election that he has led since December 2002. So for him to for his forward march to be stopped by the people of Delhi, which is a city of great political significance and symbolism, would be a personal setback. And I think the wider setback for the BJP nationally would be that what the Aam Aadmi Party might demonstrate if it wins is the proof of concept that here it is possible in the political arena to defeat the BJP, provided you have a clean image and you don't have the burden of anti-incumbency. So this is a powerful message that will go across to
Let me put the opposite to Vinod Sharma. On the other hand, Mr. Modi clearly could not have carried on winning election after election. At some point, he had to lose an election. And if that happens 8 months after his own victory, is it really such a terrible setback?
As if the results have come out. Let us await the results.
The question began with the word if. It's a perfectly plausible way of starting a question.
We also do our own tracking poll, and we are leading, and we are in position to form the government with a comfortable majority. That is what you will see.
All right, for your sake, I hope you're right. I know you're under pressure today, which perhaps is why you're so irascible this evening, and I fully understand it, and I happily forgive it. But let me give Vinod Sharma a chance.
Nobody won't let me speak.
If you wish to have a one-sided debate, that's fine.
The problem...
It's not a one-sided debate. There are no opposition people here. There are 3 independent, credible journalists. You just don't like the fact that their opinion seems to suggest you're not winning. They're not your opponents. They're some of the country's most respected political journalists.
No, not at all. What is the basis of your, sweeping conclusions?
All right, Aman Sinha, you've effectively hijacked the show this evening and stopped the discussion instead of having a sensible, analytical discussion, which I thought would shed light and bring some understanding. We've had instead a fractious one. And not just a fractious one, but one that's been pretty quarrelsome between you and me. My thanks to my guests for joining me.